Yes, good old TJ.
Konnichiwa, News Cars, your boy INCOG. Back with another rest video. And today, guys, we are doing some Halloween videos. This is gonna be a back-to-back upload right from this video to the next video. We're gonna do we're gonna do a couple Halloween videos. This one, it is called 3 True Disturbing Hallows Eve stories. I've never heard of Hallows Eve. I know of Christmas Eve. Never knew they had an Eve for. Well, I guess everything has an Eve, done it. Like the day before the actual event or whatever. I guess you can say like it was an Eve to your birth or Eve to, Eve to an event. You know what I'm saying? But I never heard nobody actually say Hallows Eve. It's either just you got Halloween or a day before Halloween. Nobody ever calls it Eve. I never heard of it like that. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm kind of getting off track right there. But anyway, guys, this video, it is from Nightmare Files. I know you guys have recommended me to him like a while ago, and this is like one of his newest uploads. Like obviously with Halloween coming up in the next 11 days, obviously they're gonna these scary channels, creepypasta channels, gonna have some scary stories about Halloween, or I guess you could say Hallows Eve, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I never heard of that. But anyway, I don't know if I want to upload this like after I record it, like the day after, or do I want to record this? Do I want to put this on the channel the day of Halloween? I think I'm gonna put this on either the day of Halloween or the 30th. It's gonna be the 30th or the 31st. Like I'm gonna do like back to back, because this is another video of a Halloween video that I want to do for you guys. But anyway, guys, like I said, let's get right to it. It's 11 minutes, so it's gonna be kind of a lengthy video. I'm gonna just talk like a little bit throughout it, like of some of the parts, but we're just gonna try to like go throughout the whole video and go from there. All right, guys, so what I've heard is get right to it. So play.
And the blinds moved back about an inch. Drew put his hand down, and the both of us looked at the window. Then the voice said,
it's kind of crazy though, because I'm recording this at 12:05, so it's during the day, as you guys can see. Well, actually, I don't know, because when I edit this, probably not gonna be able to see, but 12:05 p.m. right now. Sun's out and everything. So. All right, Mr. Nightmare Files. I try to say Nightmare Files. What you got for me? Let's see.
20 years ago, when I was 5 going on 6, I dressed up as Pennywise the Clown for Halloween. I wore the costume all day due to my school letting us wear them for parties in our classes. When we were dismissed from school, my father met me with a pleasant surprise. He was dressed in a yellow raincoat and had a hat on, and he was Georgie from the movie It.
Yeah, I'm about to
He
say,
held my hand
ain't that the dude
as
from
we went to the car. Then we drove home. A few hours go by, and my father took me out to go trick-or-treating because my mother wasn't feeling too well. The night went on as scheduled, kids bombarding doors for candy, teenagers scaring each other, and parents losing their kids. Everyone loved our costumes. Again, I was Pennywise the Clown and he was Georgie from the 1990 It. My father held my hand in between each house and waited at the end of each driveway. One house took longer than others, and I remember that I was very anxious. Once I received my candy, I remember that there were more people than usual, and I had to run through a crowd to get to my father.
That's a lot of
I reached him.
That's a lot of body heat.
And off we went, but it was the opposite direction of where we initially were going. I didn't think anything of it because of how young I was. We went down one of the dark back streets where our garbage was picked up.
That's a whole lot of
for
red
some
flags.
reason, and we were walking unusually fast. I remember that I said, "Daddy," but my father started moving faster and didn't answer me. Then all of a sudden, I heard my name yelled out from about 25 yards behind us, and it was my father's voice. I looked back and it was my father.
I knew it.
I looked up at the person that I was walking with.
Ain't your
And
daddy.
he had on the same costume as my dad, but when I looked closer, I noticed it wasn't him. I looked at my dad and yelled out to him. The man then let me go. And as soon as he saw my father, he started running, and my father was running full speed at us. The man took off down the alley. in through a backyard. My father reached me and he was out of breath while he was hugging and kissing me, also asked me if I was okay. My father called the cops and explained to them that he lost track of me in a huge crowd at one of the houses and that there was some sick guy roaming our neighborhood. Once we got home,
that was a sick guy right there.
he told my mother everything that happened. He told her that a crowd gathered and some random guy with some costume the same as him walked up to him while I approached the porch. He told her that the guy said I was a cute kid. They wanted to just snatch me up in a joking manner. Then the crowd gathered even
funny
more,
about that.
and he lost track of me until he saw us turn the corner onto the back street, and that's when he started to run after us and yell my name. Now looking back, I bet my father was losing his mind and probably wanted to kill that guy when he saw us together. Until this day, I'm grateful that my father found us when he did, because who knows what would have happened to me.
That's sad, man. I don't understand why people are like that, but I'm glad that it was alright. That was a good ending, but Jesus, man, that's sad. That's terrible.
When I was a kid, I loved Halloween. I went trick-or-treating up until I was 12. My last time going trick-or-treating, I went with my friend Drew. He loved Halloween as much as I did. This Halloween, everyone seemed more wild than usual, but it was Halloween and that's how teenagers act, I guess. We went to a house that had a flashlight lit on the front porch, but no candy. We noticed that everyone stopped at the end of the walkway. They kept walking past the house once they noticed that there wasn't any candy. Not us. I told Drew we should check it out.
Nope.
Or we should just let these people know to turn their light off because it's confusing people. Approaching the house, we noticed that none of the lights were on in the house.
Snoopy leads the bad
As Drew
stuff,
was
man.
set to knock on the door, one of the front windows raised just a little bit, and the blinds moved back about an inch. Drew put his hand down, and the both of us looked at the window. Then the voice said,
"Hey, just come in for the candy."
The door opened a bit,
Man,
and by
I'm
surprise,
about to.
Drew walked in like a dummy. I asked him why
I am
he was
out of
going
there.
in.
What?
He said,
You say both
"I
need
want
out
some
of there.
As he turned to answer me, someone put their hands on his mouth. I immediately ran forward to help him, then I heard multiple voices yelling, "Grab him." The door shut. I could hear wrestling sounds. Drew was fighting these guys. I started yelling, screaming, and banging on the door, but I couldn't get in. I didn't have a cell phone, so I ran down the street asking people to help, and that my friend was in trouble. Everyone laughed and were telling me that they're not falling for it. I got a block away and I ran into a police officer. I told him what was going on, but he was very skeptical due to it being Halloween. He put me in his car, and I showed him where the house was. As we were pulling up to the house, I saw my friend's body on the front lawn with people just walking past. I started yelling and screaming to the cop that it was my friend and he needs the help. The police officer believed me once we got up to my friend. He was bloody.
Bro.
Luckily, he was alive, but those guys beat him pretty badly. Then they dropped his body and left. The police officer told us that the house was abandoned, and that's why we didn't notice any lights on. My friend is pretty much scarred for life, especially being that people were walking past him as if he were a Halloween ornament and laughing. But luckily, that cop listened to me. And honestly, I haven't celebrated Halloween since.
Bro, we have got to stop going to. You gotta stop going to abandoned houses, bruh. Like those houses that look so sketchy, bruh. Like it's always them houses that people like try to plan some for Halloween. Always, man.
This all happened 28 years ago, when I was 8 years old. My mother and my father would often take me to visit my grandparents for Halloween. My aunt lived 2 houses down from my grandparents, and I could go trick-or-treating with my cousins. Between my grandparents' place and my aunt's place, there was an old dilapidated house. We always skipped it when we went trick-or-treating Halloween night because the woman who lived there gave us the creeps. She was very big, like a huge woman. She was over 6 feet tall and wore chains around her neck and heavy work boots. There was obviously something very wrong with her. Whenever we went back and forth between my aunt's place and my grandparents' place, we always had to run past the woman's house because she was always standing at her windows watching us. It was so creepy that we never dared to run past her house alone. Sometimes the big woman would be outside of her house, watering the garden or scrubbing the windows.
When we ran past, she would shout and yell at us. She would tell us that the devil was coming for us. We told the adults
okay,
about
wow.
her, but they just told us to leave her alone and stay away from her.
That's a lady quick.
One Halloween, we were going trick-or-treating with my other older cousins. They dared us to go to the big woman's house and knock on her door. I remember being so afraid, but I didn't want to look like a coward, so I agreed. Dressed in our Halloween costumes, we walked up to her driveway and rang the doorbell. Suddenly, there was a lot of banging and slamming noises coming from the house. We were frightened, and I was about to run away when the door creaked open. The woman was standing there in the dim light. She was holding something in her hands.
Not on duty.
When we saw what it was,
Not
we
on
all
duty.
ran screaming down the driveway. It looked
They
like
go
a human
run.
head.
Yes.
When we got home, we were all shaking and out of breath. Some of the younger kids were crying. The adults asked us what was wrong, and when we told them what we had seen, they just laughed at us, and they didn't take it serious. My grandfather said it was just a Halloween prop, and my grandmother told us we shouldn't be bothering that woman. After we all calmed down, we went outside again and continued trick-or-treating. However, we stayed away from that big woman's house. About a month later, my father got a phone call from my grandparents. They said that the big woman who lived next door had attacked my aunt. My aunt had just came home from shopping. She was carrying her groceries in one arm, and she had my baby cousin in her other arm. Just as she got to her front door, the big woman appeared out of nowhere. She had a rope saw and put it around my aunt's neck. My aunt flipped out and immediately dropped the groceries along with my baby cousin. My aunt managed to get her hands around the rope saw. She started kicking her front door with her feet as she struggled. Her husband heard all of the commotion, and when he saw what was happening, he ran outside and got the woman off of my aunt. My aunt survived the attack, but it left her with scars on her hands, along with scars across the front of her neck. Of course, the police were called, and they arrested the big woman.
Dang.
When they searched her house, they found something that shocked everybody in the area. The woman had been digging tunnels into her home, which came up under my aunt's house, my grandparents' house, and another neighbor's house. She had been bringing the dirt up and putting it in her flower beds in her garden.
Word?
That wasn't all. The most chilling discovery was that she had also built some kind of shrine under her house with candles and other stuff on it. At the center of the shrine was a real human head. Needless to say, it was the same head that we saw when we went trick-or-treating on Halloween night. She had already murdered one woman, and my aunt almost became the next severed head in her collection.
Wow, man. Okay, 3 disturbing true Hallow Eve stories, man. Severed heads, real people's heads, shrines, no. And like I say, man, coming at mold, encourage the Curly dog. Then on top of that, we still going to houses that's abandoned or houses that nobody else go to, but we gonna go to it because we're curious. Telling you, curiosity killed the cat, man. It's the reason why people say that, man. Being a Snoopy, man, ain't nothing good. Do not investigate. Don't do none of that type of stuff. Just literally leave it be, man. Like if your head tells you, like your heart tells you something, like listen to your first thought, man. If it says don't do it, don't do it. It's not gonna be nothing good from it. But anyway, guys, like I said, this is Nightmare Files video, the Halloween video. Let me know what you guys. Subscribe if you're new. Like, subscribe on the channel. Hit the bell notification. Make sure you click all. Follow the Twitch page, and yeah, I'm out. Peace.